And I've been thinking about it a lot, which is like, hey, why am I playing this so patient? Why am I not looking for anything in return? Why do I like it better if I give you a whole bunch and you never give me anything? And I mean that. And by the way, I'm not this great human being. It's not that I'm the nicest guy in the world. There's something behind it. I'm a businessman. I have my own goals and ambitions. And so I've been really trying to reverse engineer, like, why is this my state? What makes me different in this way? And the other people that I see do it, why do they do it? And I think it comes up to this, my friends. I think first and foremost, and this is so important for so many of you to hear, and I've been saying it a bunch, and I know there's, by the way, a lot of engagement on social, so I know a lot of you have context on me. I spent the first 13, 14 years of my career building a business and not worrying about building a personal brand and not having a social media account. I was building an actual business. I think the real reason I give away my content for free, I engage with all of you, I answer, I give love, I think the biggest reason I do that is because I don't need your help or money to accomplish my goals. I have enough talent to build businesses that are not predicated on turning admiration or attention into short-term dollars. And I think this is very important because if this conference is positioned as how do we build things and have great impact, it starts with only two things. There's only two things. Listen, my whole talk, given the framework that they've created for this conference, is actually very simple. I was thinking about it, I'm like, okay, let's make it contextual. Let's talk about something slightly different. It's actually very easy if you're sitting in this audience to achieve the ambition of the context of this conference, which is to do things that are also then good for humanity. It's actually very, very simple. It's two things. It's intent, and this is a big one. And we don't talk about it enough in our business world, entrepreneurship, tech, solopreneur. Intent. Like, what are you actually up to? Like, what are you actually trying to do? Is your intent to actually build a great business and give back to the world? Or is your intent to disguise that you want to make money by saying that every time somebody buys one of your granola bars, you donate a granola bar to the hungry? And I'm glad that 8 of you laughed over there because I'm going to tell you something. As somebody who was there and saw Blake early on when he formed that Times shoes model, and as somebody who was an angel investor in 2013 and 14, and looking at every single company, I saw an ungodly amount of 23-year-olds claiming to me that because they're millennials, this was the best, this was my favorite pitch, because they were millennials, they cared about the world more. And so they both wanted to make money, but also they cared more about the world than Gen X, which was really cute. And then I would look at their business model, and whatever the fuck they were selling, that they were then donating one to somebody that was so fucking needy, right? And literally, if you pressed them on why it was going to this country, if you even asked one question why it was going to this country, you pretty much ended up realizing they just threw a fucking dart at a map. And then I just want to remind everybody, I'm a businessman. I understand that I put out content, but I'm a businessman, so it wasn't very difficult for me to look at the P&L and the projections to realize that they were selling this granola bar or umbrella or sneaker for twice the price that it needed to be so they could afford to actually give the sneaker. So what you were doing actually was your intent was to look like a good person but still make as much money, every dollar that you would have if you didn't have the bullshit model that you were donating something. And so what you were completely full of fucking shit. And I have great news. I searched a lot of accounts on my long-ass flight to Vancouver last night of people using hashtags here, and these are wonderful people that are in the audience using the hashtag, and they're gonna change the world and bring to humanity, and some of you are full of shit. So, if we're gonna accomplish something from this conference, these 2 days of inspiration and good stuff, if you're gonna actually accomplish something when you walk out there and go back to your normal lives, I promise you, step 1 of the idea, a really good part of the strategy needs to be your actual intent. I want to remind everybody that it is very okay to be selfish and build something and do it in parallel. You don't need to disguise your ambitions and wants and needs with horse shit that you're going to donate to the rain fucking forest. You don't have to do that. You're capable of both, and I am that. I live it. I always talk about stuff that's real to me. I am an assassin, killer, ninja, selfish winner in business, and I can separate that from who I am. And I want to remind everybody, my favorite all-time thing of doing good is when somebody called me out on Twitter for not donating to things or doing GoFundMes on social media, and that I was a bad guy. And I literally DM'd this person and met him at Starbucks, and where I stopped in between that meeting, this is back in 2011, I stopped at my accountant's, picked up my tax returns. You like this story? This is a good one. This is my favorite, but I don't tell this story very often, but it's good under the context of this. He said, Gary Vee, why don't you donate and do good causes? You're just selfish. You just care about yourself. Why don't you do things like your friends on social media? And he mentioned some social media influencers. I DM'd him. I said, hey, fuckface, meet me at Starbucks. I went to my accountant's. I picked up my tax returns. I showed up to the Starbucks. He walked in. He shit that I was actually there. And then I showed him my tax return. And then I said to him, young man, here's the difference between you and I. You're still of the age where people trick you easily, where people use social media to PR themselves and are using causes to build themselves up that they're good people, and you're confused. When you do good, you stay quiet about that shit. I showed, you guys know me. You guys know me. I'm very comfortable to be loud and proud of my vanity and my kind of like accomplishments, and like I self-promote. But the things that I'm most proud of, you don't know jack shit about. You don't. And so I showed him my tax return, which, shows your donations and how you actually roll. And he was like, I'm so confused. And I said, you're confused because you don't understand what's actually happening. And that's the point of this intent talk. Nobody in here is tricking the 1% of winners with their bullshit. So if you want to actually accomplish the thesis of this conference, you need to make sure that your intent is pure. Your intent, the way you make your money is something you're proud of, that you're not bottom feeding. And most of all, if you're going to do good for the world, just do it. Don't use it as your PR engine to make money on the side. Intent. It's true. And I'm sure you've sniffed it out. Number 2, the only other way to do this whole thing is my favorite part, the doing the work. Before you're gonna help the elephants, and before you're gonna help carrots, you actually have to be in a position to help. The way you do that is create the means and the infrastructure to help, whether that is a voice and an audience, whether that's the financial means, whether that's the relationships. Everybody here, and when I say everybody here, I don't mean this conference, I mean the whole fucking game. 99% of people are so quick to get to this thing that they don't lay the foundation down. You've got to actually build a business that gives you that air cover. I want to remind everybody here, and it's really fun because I always love when the mix of the crowd is 18 and 88. Because if you're under 26 years old, 27 years old, you have not lived through a tough economy yet. It's been all upswing since you've been in the game. Just has. 2008, 9, call it what it is. In 2010, it was already on its way up. Simple as that. So you're living in 7, 8 years. Really means you're actually 30 and you haven't really played. Look around and I see people more my age and older. We've been through some shit, couple cycles. We know what happens. Do you know how excited I am for the world to collapse soon so I can get rid of so many of you fake fuckers? Do you know how pumped I am? I dream at night. Last night I fell asleep at 2 o'clock and I go, one day that kid's gonna have to change his profile from influencer to bank teller. Can't fucking wait. So, intent. Don't be full of shit because you're tricking the 90% that don't matter and you're losing equity with the 10% that do. Number 2, do. You've got to work. You feel super inspired from this weekend? You can't wait? What happens next Thursday? What happens next month? You have to actually work a lot. You know zero people that have built something big that haven't put in a ridiculous amount of work. And the bigger it is, the more they've worked. So many of you have your mouth way ahead of your actions. Really? You're gonna own an island and you fucking go to Coachella? Fuck you. Because it's the truth. It's the truth, and the reason you say that is because you, like me, have been through a couple of these cycles. We know exactly what we're living through. All my 48-year-old executive employees were trillionaires in 2000 because of the internet and the stock market prices. How many people here have a startup, raised money, and have not had 1 month in their lives where they were profitable? Let me remind all of you startups that have raised money, it doesn't take a hero to lose money each month. And there's a problem, and I'm coming with you with this, and this is positive fire. I'm not razzing you. I'm trying to give you love because I know what's happening. I live in that world. VC money is clamping up. VC money is clamping up. So I'm sitting here and telling you to do, if you are not making money yet with your business, figure out why. Change your model. Cut your overhead. Shit's coming. Practicality is my religion. Practicality is my religion. That's why I push patience on so many of you, because it's practical. It is a marathon. Unless you die, it's gonna be long. So why are you running so fast? Why do you need it so bad? Let me tell you what really sucks. It really sucks when you bought a $20,000 watch and shit hits the fan and you can't sell that piece of jewelry for $4,000 because everybody's trying to get a job. And so everybody's not investing. Let me tell, and by the way, I eat my own dog food. From 20 to 30, I built a business to a $45 million a year business, kicking real profit, and I was paying myself $47,000 a year, living in a 1-bedroom apartment and driving a Jeep Grand Cherokee, which was nice, but it wasn't a fucking Beamer. And I did that because I was investing in the business for a foundation. And everybody's trying to make a buck, and they're pulling it out. You're making money, and you're buying nice suits. Stupid. Short-term. Insecurity. People getting naked in the front row. But I mean it. Right? Like there's that meme, you know, it's funny, it makes me smile and I hope people are getting something out of it. There's that meme of Jay-Z on Instagram, right? Like 2 pictures of him, one with a ton of jewelry and then one now with just a black t-shirt, and it shows one, he was like worth $1 million and now, like, that's just real. And the thing that I don't like, and I've been bringing it up here and I'm gonna bring it up again, is people are fronting for people that aren't going to be the impact on them. I met with a kid for 20 minutes today, loved him. He's got it, but he's doing, thank you, but he's doing something that's gonna hurt him. And I told him, I said, look, you're doing something that is not going to win. I would eliminate you from consideration to do business with based on this behavior, other than I don't think I'm shit and I shouldn't be judging people, but most of the majority of my contemporaries are doing that. I'm just confused by the behavior of the current system because so much of it is facade, so much of it is short term, so much of it is fake, and I don't know. I just know how I got here today. I know how I got the luxury and the enormous feeling of admiration, and it came from tried and true, and it comes from tried and true for everybody. And what we do is we sit around and look at the 0.0000001% of a guy that creates Instagram, or a guy that creates Facebook, or Elon Musk, and we start mapping towards these anomalies, yet 99.99999% of people that have been successful, it took them 20, 30, 40 years, tried and true, hard work. And so I try to impose on you here today, my friends, through sheer will, trying to force it down your throat, that first and foremost, your intent needs to be pure. If you want to build a good business and if you want to give back to the world, then that's what you actually have to do.